What happens when a late-night legend pushes too far and a Hollywood powerhouse decides she's had enough? The entertainment world is reeling tonight after an explosive confrontation on The Tonight Show that ended with Jimmy Fallon walking off his own stage and sources saying he may be walking away from the show entirely. This wasn't a typical celebrity interview gone awkward. It was a full-scale clash that exposed tensions nobody saw coming. And it all started with what seemed like an innocent question. Before we get into exactly what was said that caused everything to unravel, make sure you're subscribed to this channel and drop a comment below telling me whose side you're on. Because this story has split the internet straight down the middle. The Tonight Show taping began like any other. The studio was full, the crowd was loud, and Jimmy Fallon bounced onto the stage with his familiar enthusiasm. Millie Bobby Brown was the headline guest, there to promote her latest project. The expectation was simple. Light banter, some laughs, maybe a game, then a smooth rap. But the mood shifted almost as soon as Millie sat down. Jimmy greeted her warmly, clapping along with the audience and praising how fast she had grown up. He talked about her early appearances on the show and how impressive her career had become. At first, it sounded like a compliment, but Millie's smile stayed tight. When Jimmy mentioned how rare it was for child stars to avoid going off the rails, the room subtly changed. Millie corrected a small detail about her age during her first appearance. Her tone was calm but firm. Jimmy brushed it off with a laugh and continued, emphasizing how grounded she was compared to other young stars. The audience applauded, but Millie did not. She asked him what he meant. Jimmy tried to clarify, saying he admired how she avoided public meltdowns. That was the moment things cracked open. Millie explained that she found the framing uncomfortable. She pointed out that young women in the industry were constantly measured by whether they failed, while young men were not. The room went quiet. Jimmy tried to recover, insisting he was complimenting her. Millie pushed back, explaining that comparing her to an imaginary version of herself that spiraled was not praise. Jimmy attempted to pivot to her project, but Millie leaned in instead. She said this pattern mattered and that she was tired of it. The audience barely breathed. Jimmy acknowledged her point, but suggested she was reading too much into it. Millie calmly replied that it was never just a comment. By the end of that exchange, the energy of the show had completely shifted, and everyone in the room knew this was no longer a normal interview.